because in the market we're in, we're going to quickly give our thoughts on Commanders Eagles, because the thing I want to say about the Eagles is you are the most phony and fake fans I have ever seen in sports. And I talked about this at the top of the show. The things that embody the city of Philadelphia, what many fans think makes them great as a sports city, doesn't Nick Sirianni embody every single one of those things? Tough, defiant, arrogant, not afraid of confrontation. He cares. He cares about his players. He cares about the team. He cares about winning. Isn't that everything that the Philly fans say they are? And yet, they wanted to fire this guy like 5 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And not only did he push through that, he's in the playoffs again. He's been there 4 seasons, 4th postseason berth. No other coach in Eagles history has done that. He's already taken them to the Super Bowl, and now he's back in the NFC title game with a really good chance to go back to the Super Bowl again. But people quickly forget. They wanted to fire this guy. Isn't that ridiculous? That's the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard.
I don't think it's ridiculous.
That they wanted to fire him?
No, I don't think it's ridiculous. It's the same reason. It's the same reason why Mike McCarthy should have been fired a long time ago. Nick Sirianni's only job is to manage the clock and set culture, and he struggles to do that consistently. He's not like Nick Sirianni. If Nick Sirianni pulled off some of the things that we've seen some of these other coaches pull off over the course of the season who we all love, he would not get the same respect, and he wouldn't get the same big ups that some of those guys get, right? Like, your job is to manage the clock. Your job is to set the culture. Your job is to make sure that certain things go a certain way. Kellen Moore, not that great of an offensive coordinator, but he's great with what they have out here in Philly, right? Vic Fangio turned this defense from being one of the worst defenses in the league last year to being the best defense in the league this year. What else does Nick Sirianni have to do but manage the clock and handle in-game situations as they come up? So I understand why Philly fans are harsh towards Nick Sirianni. I'm surprised that you, as a Sixers fan, who also embodies this exact same energy towards Joel Embiid, Bert, the guy who has been saying for the last 18 months that Joel Embiid should be traded, is confused as to why Philly fans want Nick Sirianni gone. I find that to be
okay. I got to defend myself here.
You're not from the same claw.
No, but Nick Sirianni has success. You know what I mean? Like, it's not Joel Embiid doesn't have any real success. You tolerate, I will tolerate.
You're right.
I will tolerate certain things. We all do in life, right? You tolerate certain behaviors based on how valuable they are to you. I like my kids because they're my kids. I don't like your kids. I don't like anybody else's kids. You know what I mean? You'll tolerate annoying behavior from your friends and family more than you will from somebody that you don't know, or that you have maybe like a constituency with, or just a mere acquaintance, right? I'm annoying as shit. Bert wouldn't tolerate me if we weren't already friends for more than a decade. I know that to be true. Matter of fact, the entire network would hate me if they didn't know me for more than 10 years. I just know that. They tolerate me because they know who I am. They wouldn't do that if they didn't know me. They would be like, "Yo, fuck this guy."
Yo, that's a fair assessment. If I didn't know you, I'd be like, "Yo, we can't hang out with him anymore."
100%. So that's the difference. I understand where you were trying to take us. I just had to defend myself a little bit. Right. Do either of us give the Commanders a real shot? Like your confidence meter of the Commanders going into Philadelphia and winning this game. Where are you at with that?
I'm not confident at all in the Commanders, and it's for 2 reasons. The first reason is when they played Philly the first time at home, Saquon Barkley, 26 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. When they played Commanders the second time on the road and they lost that game on the last play of the game, Saquon Barkley, 29 touchdowns, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Eagles win that game if Devontae Smith doesn't drop that pass. So the Eagles in both games have outplayed the Commanders. Even this version of the Commanders is the version of the Commanders that existed in that game before Christmas, and they still could have lost that game. So the Commanders have to play perfect football on Sunday. And for Jaden Daniels, that's no problem. And for the guys who have stepped up, like De'Ami Brown and Olamide Zacchaeus, like that's no problem, right? This defense is not. This Commanders defense has faced two somewhat one-dimensional football teams, right? They face the Buccaneers, who really don't have an identity one way or another. They do a healthy mixture of both, right? They faced a team in the Lions who we know prefers to run the football and get physical and win in the trenches. But because because for the most part, they were able to keep that in check, they forced Jared Goff to throw the football, and they capitalized on that. We have seen, and this is the reason why Jerm doesn't like Jalen Hurts, and this is the reason why Jerm will never admit that Jalen Hurts is actually better than Lamar Jackson. Jerm can't stand the fact that this Eagles team can win without Jalen Hurts throwing for over 200 yards. He can't stand it.
I can't.
He can't stand it. And that's not Jalen Hurts' fault. It's not Jalen Hurts' fault that they have the best O-line in football, and it's certainly not Jalen Hurts' fault that they have the best running back in football. If you're the Washington Commanders, last week I said if the Rams were going to win, they needed to keep Saquon Barkley in check, because the last time they saw Saquon, he went off to the tune of 255 yards.
Noah's saying the same thing here.
Saquon had 205 yards this weekend, and they lost.
Yeah.
They almost won, though. Matt Stafford was walking them down at the end.
I know the Eagles fans were tight in that damn stadium, boy.
Down at the end.
He was doing it.
If the Commanders want to win, Saquon Barkley cannot be productive to the tune of 5 yards a carry for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. That can't happen. And I'm not saying that they're going to have a better chance at winning if the ball is in Jalen Hurts' hands, because I think Jalen Hurts is more than proven that he's a winner and can win you football games. We've seen it. But the Eagles' biggest threat is the run game. The Commanders have to neutralize Saquon. It's their only hope. They have to make the Eagles a one-dimensional football team. They're going to have a really, really, really hard time doing it. They're going into hostile territory. And as cliche as it sounds, they don't have the experience. No one on this team, as off the top of my head that I can think of, no one on this team has been used to playing football this late in the season.
Martavius Lucado says Ravens fan here. Sucks Lamar can't get over the hump. Some guys just don't play well under pressure. It is what it is.
In the words of Triple H, pressure makes diamonds. It also bursts pipes.
Noah says the Commanders' rush defense is not good, and Saquon has been thriving. I agree. Bert, what do you think about the Commanders-Eagles matchup?
There's not much more. I will give them a confidence of winning that game. I'll give them a 50-50 shot, because I basically just short of writing them off against Detroit. Everything Dwayne Marcus said and what Noah said in the comment is 100% true. I mean, when you think about it, Jalen Hurts hasn't thrown for over 130 since he's been back, basically at the start of the playoffs. So the real threat and the always threat was Saquon Barkley, and he is downright dirty the past 3 games. So contain the run, make Jalen Hurts throw the ball. And not that that's a bad thing, right? We know he can throw if necessary, but that's going to be one of the only ways to try to have a fighting chance. And as Noah pointed out, Commanders have an awful run defense. So we'll see. Never say never, because again, I didn't think that they were going to stick it to the Lions as hard as they did. But, to Dwayne Marcus's their last point he made, no one on the Commanders has been this far and played football this late, or at least, from what we perceive to be. I mean, when you think about it, the core of this Eagles team hasn't really changed much aside from Saquon. Since their last Super Bowl visit, losing to Kelsey aside, but that's what we're looking at essentially. So on any given Sunday, right, I have to give them at least 50%, but it's probably going to swing Philly's way.
I'm not going to say anything that can be perceived as negative towards the Philly Eagles fans. So I'm going to let y'all do all the talking, and we'll see how the comments section.
After calling them idiots.
Oh yeah,
in 2 separate rants. Now we're gonna not say anything. Last thing I'll say before he gets on his high horse about the Bills and the Chiefs, the Commanders this season ranked 30th in rush defense. They gave up almost 140 yards a game. So they're gonna have to buck up. They're gonna have to find a way. They're gonna have to find a way to win this game.
Before we get to the Bills Chiefs, let's catch up on some comments. Mike Hughes says Jay Cutler has won more playoff games than Lamar Jackson.
Cuddy does it.
That's not good. Versetti, Jalen Hurts or Lamar? Dwayne Marcus already said Jalen Hurts, I think. And that's tough, man.
Who's the winner? That's what matters. Who's the winner?
I feel, hey, you know what? I'm with it, man. And I need brownie points with the Eagles fans, so I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts as well. Noah also says Eagles fans are so impatient to me. Yeah, I mean they're just, I get it, man. They've just been so close, but yeah, they are impatient. Commanders, we already did that one.